And hello and welcome to the San Jose State Weekly Football Press Conference. Spartans coming off a win at home against New Mexico State, 37-31. And now we'll hit the road and go back into conference play against Colorado State this Saturday, October 9th, a 1:30 Mountain Time kickoff, 12:30 Pacific Time. FS1, the television coverage, and 8:60 a.m. KTRB with the radio coverage beginning at noon Pacific. With that, we'll bring in San Jose State head coach Brent Brennan.
Hello. It's good seeing everybody Saturday night in our building here. It's pretty cool. I thought Saturday night was a great win. It was a great night in SEFQ. It's really exciting that we continue to have, the students from our campus, our administration, our donors, our alums, people from the city show up and support this team. It's just really exciting to me. To have back-to-back home games, or certainly not back-to-back, but to have home games with that kind of attendance, early in the season like that is so important and impactful for us. And the players feel it, and the energy and the environment, just building a really quality game day here is really, really cool. And then it's just awesome to see the players had so much fun being a part of that. New Mexico State played really well coached. They played hard. Did a bunch of good stuff that challenged us in a bunch of different ways. And then also thought we had some amazing stuff happen for us, right? I thought Nick Nash was brilliant. I thought our defense came together and got that really big stop at the end of the game. And so there was just, I think we took turns playing good football, and I'm excited to see, how do we get us playing that all at the same time? And so that's what I'm looking forward to. We have a really tough game this week. Colorado State is a good physical football team. We're going on the road again. They're coming off a bye, so they're going to be well rested and all of that. Their head coach knows exactly what he's doing. Obviously he's an offensive line background. They are big and physical, and they run the ball out of personnel groups you're not used to seeing. And so this is an incredible challenge for our football team. And we're excited to get to work and get to practice and start building our game plan for this game and to go on the road and play a conference game in their awesome stadium and see what that feels like. So let's go.
All right, we'll open up to questions. Vitas, go ahead.
Coach, I'm guessing we'll see a Nick at quarterback, but we won't know which one until Saturday. But just how comfortable are you now after seeing the way that Nick Nash performed as his career started at quarterback, that you've got two guys that you can count on?
I was comfortable going into the game knowing that Nick was going to be the guy playing quarterback, Nick Nash. So, I think he is, whenever he's gone in and played for us, he has been effective at moving the football. And, I know, people remember the game against San Diego State a year ago, but, I can go further back and remember great plays by him against Arkansas and Northern Colorado, in 2019. So, I'm just happy for him. I thought he played extremely well, and, excited to continue to see him develop and grow into that role as we go. And, as quick as the other Nick can get healthy, then we'll be excited about that too.
And if and whenever Nick Starkel comes back, would you imagine that you still use Nick Nash in different packages at quarterback to sort of give a different look to the defense with his mobility and the things he can do outside the pocket?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Vic Aquino, we're going to you.
Yeah. You mentioned Colorado coming off the bye, Brent, and I saw a couple of their games. They look like they're gaining momentum, kind of defying what the 1-3. They look pretty good. And the question is really around the parity in the league, like what's happened to Fresno and Hawaii, San Diego, and you really don't know what you're going to get each week. And so what are you kind of focusing on with Colorado State? And regardless of the record, is that you probably expect a good game.
Yeah, these guys are good. Goodness gracious, they're dang good, right? They took Vandy to the wire. I mean, we need to be honest about that, right? They beat Toledo on the road. Like, we're looking at a good football team here. And anytime you have to play against someone this is a, almost their entire starting lineup is filled with seniors or super seniors. Some of these guys we played against in like 2018. so they've been there a long time. They've played a lot of football. They know what it looks like, what it feels like. And they're only in the second year with Coach Adazio. And so he's starting to put his fingerprints on the program. And you can see that by how they play. They're incredibly tough, physical on both sides of the ball. And so I think that's, something that we have to get prepared for. And we played actually a lot of physical games so far this year. And so, I think we have an idea what that's like, but we haven't necessarily seen the presentation that they present, on both sides of the ball. So, we're focusing on what they do, but really on what we need to fix with us coming out of that game the other night.
Steve Kroner, we're going to you. Go ahead.
Brent, how you doing?
Hey, Steve.
Hey, kind of going back to Vitas and questions about Nick Nash. For a guy who I assume did not get a whole lot of reps at quarterback, he was in practice. If he was, playing wide receiver the previous couple of weeks, were you a little hesitant last, Saturday night because he hadn't had the reps, or you figure his body of work over a couple of years would mitigate the fact that he hadn't had a ton of reps in practice the previous few weeks?
Yeah, I wasn't, to be honest with you, Steve, I wasn't worried at all about that because he had played the position for 2+ years, right? So that wasn't a concern of mine.
All right, Jackson Moore, do you have a question?
Yes, Coach. Curious, just based off of the offensive performance of the previous couple of weeks, was there something about the way Nash played in the offensive game plan that was more fitting to this group of players, or was it just a matchup thing, or how do you analyze what you guys were able to do offensively compared to the previous couple of weeks?
I definitely, it was a little bit smaller inventory for our offense. We didn't turn it over nearly as much, right? I think, at Hawaii, I think turnovers led to maybe a touchdown or 10 points. Against USC, it led to 3 scores. Against Western Michigan, it led to 2 scores, I believe. So we did not turn it over as many times as we have in the past. But that turnover thing is a huge indicator of how we're going to go, and we are in the process of trying to get that fixed because that has not been anywhere near where we want to be right now.
Derek Al, over to you.
Hey, Coach. Derek Gow from the Spear and KSGS FM. I want to talk about Nehemiah Shelton. He had that big time interception for you guys on Saturday night. How do you feel like his game's improved since you've known him?
Well, he's made incredible strides. You want to talk about a guy who's really matured and taken, learning the position and fine-tuning his technique incredibly seriously. He's one of our absolute best practice players on our whole team. And it just shows up with how he plays. And I think that's exciting. When you see the older players in your program, right? We had a great night from Derek Deese the other night. We had a great night from Tyler Nevins, right? Nehemiah had the interception, right? When you have those older guys playing really good football, that speaks to the coaching that they're getting from their position coaches and how the coordinators are using them in the scheme, and also their maturation and their process of development. So Nehemiah's a great kid. He's got great energy. He comes to work every day. He loves football. He's a lot of fun to coach, and he plays with that energy, right? You can see it.
Vitas, back to you.
Coach, you alluded this a little bit on Saturday, but how do you plan to adjust the altitude over in Colorado, and what's the travel plan to maybe help acclimate the players to that different challenge that they're going to face?
There's really nothing you can do in a week to fix that. So we're going to make sure that we get well rested this week and we take care of our bodies, and we're going to get out there and play. And it's not that extreme of a one, like you feel it a little bit early. We've played a lot of altitude games here in the past, right? We've had to play it, Wyoming, and so we had to play at Utah one year. So that part of it that's part of it. But I think our guys will do a great job in their preparation and how they take care of their bodies this week leading up to the game. That'll give us a chance to not be severely impacted by that.
Vic Aquino.
Yeah, Brent. So Nick Starkel, if you look at his distribution rate across so many receivers, and you looked at Nick Nash's on Saturday, he was definitely, obviously favoring Derek a lot more. Is that more what Nick Nash is reading, or a combination of what maybe Coach McGivern is saying, take the first read, or how would you comment on that?
Well, I think for starters, Vic, you're going to need a bigger sample size for Nick Nash than just one game to really assess that. What I think happened there is that he's throwing the ball to the guy that's open, and that just happened to be how they covered it, right? It's exciting because Derek's been a good player here in our program for a long time, and for him to kind of keep showing up and making the plays he made, and for Nick to deliver the ball with the kind of accuracy he did was really exciting. And so I'm encouraged by what we saw from both those guys. And you saw Malachi Miller score his first touchdown. So there's a lot of good stuff happening in that game.
Vitas, go ahead.
Coach, I know you saw what happened at Hawaii on Saturday with an upset that not many people saw coming, with Hawaii beating Fresno State with its backup quarterback. You're about to start 7 games in the Mountain West, and Vic alluded to the parity in the Mountain West. How tough is these next 7 games, these next 2 months of football going to be as you try to defend your title?
I think it's going to be incredibly challenging. Every game in this conference is going to be a battle. And I think if you don't have that mindset, you're not going to like how it goes for you on Saturday. Everybody in this conference is well coached. Everybody has talent. Everybody does a good job systematically. You have to play a bunch of different schemes. Like this week is a great example, right? You're playing a much different scheme this week than we played, say, against Hawaii 2 weeks ago. So, week in and week out, you have to be ready to see different stuff. Next week we play San Diego State, right? Much different scheme on defense. So there's, that part of it. I think, the people that are in this conference know how good it is. They know how good the players are, the talent level is, and they know how good the coaching is. And so if you're lining up week to week in the Mountain West Conference, you have to have a great week of preparation. You have to understand that all these games are going to be tight games. They're going to go down to the wire, and you have to be at your best in those moments to have a chance to play well and win.
Kevin, go ahead.
Coach, let's talk about the run game. I know in the post game you were at 199 yards, and after they adjusted the stats, you're at 209. So congrats, right? 4th time over 200 yards rushing on offense as a head coach. The part that trickled down off of that, the number of drives, I think you were 10 drives on Saturday. Normal game, 14, 15, 16, one that's back and forth. We get up near 20. Talk about the tempo, because that was interesting to me in the second half, how you guys were able to kind of control that tempo. And I felt like it was because you were running the ball well.
Well, I think, as we are gearing up to get ready to play in conference, we know that to win big games, you have to be able to run the ball. Like, you have to be able to run the football effectively. It doesn't mean we have to run for 200 every week, but we have to be able to run the ball effectively. And I thought we did a great job of that Saturday night. And so getting ready for this next one, it's going to be the same thing, right? They want to control the football. They have a very, very senior veteran offensive line. Their tight end is an NFL player. Their defensive front is very physical. And so they're trying to control the line of scrimmage, shorten the game, and, beat you with their physicality, running the football, and then throwing it over your head. And so there's a lot to get ready for as we prepare for that. But our ability to effectively run the football is critical. And that obviously makes the pass game easier. That makes everything easier. And so in the games when we do a good job of running the ball, we tend to sustain drives better. We stay ahead of schedule, with the chains. And I think we saw that Saturday night. I was really proud of our team on Saturday. I thought the way we finished that game was excellent.
Jackson Moore, go ahead.
Coach, you just mentioned their tight end, Trey McBride. His stats and usage are unusually high for a tight end. What are you seeing from him, and how much does it help that you have such talented tight ends to throw out your defense week after week in practice?
Well, I hope it helps. We'll have to see how it looks. Obviously, their presentation is a little bit different than ours. And so, I don't know if that really impacts it in the way that you hope it would. Outside of them, our guys having to go against our tight ends in one-on-one situations and that kind of stuff in practice. This guy's been an awesome player in the conference for as long as he's been in. Like, it's always been him. And so I give the guy a lot of credit. It's cool that he plays with his brother. His brother's a good player on defense. And then when you look at this roster, there's so many veteran players that have played a lot of football. And, you know, these guys, like kind of like some of our guys that came back for a super senior year because they want to play and they want to, you know, enjoy the experience of playing college football. And so I think this team is an extremely dangerous team we're playing.
Steve Croner, do you have any more?
I do not. Thanks. Thanks for asking, though.
Yeah. Vic, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just curious if Kevin's jealous of you getting more TV time than. I'm just kidding.
I think the food's better. The food is better in the TV booth, I think.
Vitas, do you have any more?
Sure. Just quickly, just one, you've been alternating wins and losses. How much are the guys hungry to have their first winning streak of the season?
Well, I think they're just excited to play again. You know, I think they feel like there were some things they left on the table Saturday night. And, you know, we know that if you want to be a good team, you have to stack good Saturdays. But we're not looking at it so much in that. We're kind of just looking at it like this game this week is all that matters. You know, it's another conference opponent. We're on the road. You know, and that's been, being on the road has been challenging for us this year. So we have to handle that the right way. And so that's really where our focus is at. And not really in terms of like, we need to put together a winning streak. Like, we need to get ready for this game right now. All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good week.
All right, that does it for this week's press conference. Once again, Spartans on the road this Saturday, a 1:30 Mountain Time kickoff, 12:30 Pacific, with the pregame show beginning at 12 o'clock on 860 AM KTRB, and FS1 will have the coverage from Fort Collins, Colorado. Thanks so much for participating this week, and we'll catch you guys next week.